Hello everyone, and welcome back to Dungeons & Dragons The Second Age. How are we all doing?
Great.
Doing good.
Excellent. So, without further ado, who wants to go ahead and remind me exactly what happened the last time we played this game?
Well, last time we played this game, we had just finished. Oh well, we had just had a nice long rest after breaking in to the Amakiir Mansion for the second time.
Wow, I'm surprised you
like-
remember that.
Yeah, wow. Fucking hell. Thanks for putting me on blast. Dave could have been none the wiser about the fact that I had forgotten that, but fuck you. Anyway. So yeah, we were now wondering what on earth do we do, and we were scrambling with what leads we had until eventually we had a great idea, which was to find ways, which was to find a way to track this Nodel person, which we assumed to be the automaton that we'd found designs for. And so what we did was we thought if it runs on magic, maybe our cool orrery which we've built to detect magic in a wide range can find it. So by pumping a little bit of magic into it, an 8th level spell slot, we charged it up to look for like the arcane makeup of the automaton's core, and sure enough, we got a blip way off in the political district.
Government district, yes.
In the government district, that one. Yeah, way off in the government district, and according to one of the professors who observed this, it looked like just the park. Big old government park. We were like, huh, that's weird, but we need to just go. So off we went, across the city. Took us like an hour or two. Once we were at the park, we used locate creature to try and narrow down on our construct. We did get questioned by guards for looking a bit weird as to why we were wandering around in full armor, but it was fine. We talked them down, kind of, technically.
Did we know?
Yeah, I mean, Grim. It wasn't really we talked them down. More Grim was like, "Look, we have our fucking rights," and we moved on.
More like he guilt tripped them with our attack from the last time.
Yeah, exactly.
We would never forget the assassin.
Yeah, never forget. So off we went, trying to track this thing down. Eventually, we came to right on the edge of the city wall, and a fallen tree that the wall had gone like over, basically, because they didn't want to, get rid of any of the natural foliage when making their wall. And we were like, this is weird. And so we had a little investigate around this tree. Turns out it was an illusion, or at least part of it was, and we could actually go inside the tree, and it had all been meticulously hollowed out. We tried to sneak, but Elizabeth got a catastrophic natural one and made a load of noise, so we were probably spotted right then and there. Well, maybe not spotted, but at least they knew we were coming. And off we went, sneaking inside, and sure enough, we find some creepy cultists, and we are ambushed. After an intense combat against zombies, a giant horned bull fiend thing, whatever it was, monkey, whatever, and 3 powerful spellcasters, we managed to subdue them. One temporarily escapes, but thanks to Kelariis' Dimension Door abilities, she's able to quickly and locate creature. She's able to quickly track the individual down, and although they have to take them out in the middle of the public and then teleport away again, we got them. We didn't let them escape and vanish back into the public, where the fact that they'd blended into the walls so well when we got there, they would have been hard to find again if we'd let them go. But we got them all, and then we started discussing, well, what the hell do we do now? How do we get out of this? The guards are almost certainly going to be coming this way at some point. And we don't want people to see Nodel, because Nodel also doesn't really want to be seen. Like, they were uncomfortable enough with the idea that anyone other than Grim, who got them out of the cage, would see them again. So what we did, so we eventually came up with the plan that Elizabeth Arya, Lyra, and Nodel would teleport back to the manor with Nodel, because, that's where Nodel's from. Well, not really, but we don't know where Nodel's from, but, Nodel, they at least know of Nodel, and they're probably the people being held at ransom by Nodel being held by these people. And at the same time, Grim and Kelariis would stay with our 3 spellcasting prisoners, and essentially try to talk down the guard. And I believe we left off with them having had their initial chat with the guard, with Kelariis managing to get them into the cave and convince them that, we weren't the threat, and to go get the guard captain, who's probably very sick of us already. And we quickly cut over to Elizabeth and Arya in the manor, just as we nearly got a spell thrown in our face by Miss Amakiir, whose first name I've forgotten.
Tia,
that's the one. We nearly got a spell thrown in our face by Tia until she saw Nodel. And yeah, I believe that's where we left off.
you did. So I think honestly the best place to pick up is as the Elizabeth, Nodel, and Arya appear in Tia's laboratory. Tia looses the magical energy that she was building in her hand. Stares you down with a displeased look. Before striding up to where Nodel is standing, Nodel takes a couple of steps forwards.
Also, I should hand Nodel that poncho thing.
Yeah, they take it back from you. Tia strides up to Nodel, sort of fusses a little over him and the dents and scuffs in his armor, sort of asking him if he's all right in Elvish, before sort of glaring back at you, Elizabeth, after making sure that Nodel is in fact in good health. Just sort of looks you down and says, "You have a lot of nerve to swan in here. If you're expecting grovelling thanks, you'll be disappointed, I'm afraid."
I certainly was not expecting that. We just wanted to get Nodel safe. And ideally somewhere where, less people would see them.
She sort of places a hand on Nodel's shoulders and sort of moves him to one side and says, "Yeah, you're damn right. In fact, I'm in half a mind to call the guard on you right here and now and have them take you in for trespassing. You might get away with strutting around doing whatever you please where you come from, but I'm not exactly going to tolerate it."
That's perfectly understandable, and we will...
Is it perfectly understandable? We just saved this guy. A little bit of thanks, I think, would be in order.
She switches her glare to you and says, "You might have rescued Nodel, but have you even considered that the whole reason he was in danger in the first place is because those masked hooligans wanted to get at you? We were broken..." Sorry, carry on.
I was just going to say, we have no connection to these people, or to you people. So how are we supposed to know that they would come after you? We've never even heard of you before now.
You think that matters? We were broken into, blackmailed, cursed, held hostage and even imprisoned, all because of your little experiment at the university. My home has been smashed up, my lab rifled through, and 10 years of experiments trashed, all because you lot couldn't fuck off and cause trouble somewhere else.
I understand where you're coming from here. And I'm very, very sorry that our task has interfered with yours to such a horrific extent. I simply hope that our efforts here can go some way to repairing the damage.
She huffs dismissively.
Honestly, I've come, despite the fact that, you made the thing that sabotaged my work, and the fight that we had, you're clearly an admirable individual. And I'm sorry that we have caused you this much pain unknowingly.
Give me a persuasion roll.
And I was going to say, yeah, she's just going to add, so please allow us to right and help you. Elizabeth, not very persuasive.
Yeah. She turns back to you and just says, I think you've done quite enough. You know what? You know what grinds me the most about this?
What grinds my gears? Sorry. Someone had to say it.
It wasn't enough that Nodel had to go through that ordeal because of what you've been up to, or that Mindata's face is being thrown off a scholarship because of what he had to do because of those traitors. No, the thing that grinds me the most is that you had to go poking around in my personal belongings. You went through my clothes, my wardrobe, my diary, and worst of all, you went messing through my keepsakes. Have you no respect? Have you found what you wanted, looking through my dead uncle's things? As if it wasn't bad enough that you're trampling all over his legacy, even putting your grubby fingerprints all over our memories. Can you see where exactly I'm not pleased to see you yet?
I mean, I understand perfectly.
But you also weren't talking. And if there was really that big of a threat, we had to understand what it was. So, you left us no choice.
She just rolls her eyes, and in Elvish says, no choice.
Bitch!
Yeah,
We were trying to help you!
Yeah, I will say in Elvish to her, we just wanted to help. I'm sorry.
She just shakes her head and says, it's no wonder there's so much distrust of outsiders these days. 400 years of peace. Your people can't even comprehend what that's like, can you? And every time it's threatened, there's always a human, or a dwarf, or a dragonborn that's somewhere behind it.
I mean, the elves don't have exactly the best history either, so perhaps we should not lay the blame at other people's feet.
I think at this point, Nodel just holds up his hands and just says, "Yeah, I think that's quite enough. Tia, I understand your frustrations, but these people saved my life. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt for what it's worth." At this point, Tia turns back to Nodel, sort of looks them down and says, "Do what you will, Nodel. I have no desire further than to see these people gone." And at which point she just turns away. Nodel sort of turns back to the rest of you and says, "Well, I realise this isn't quite the welcome we were expecting, but you have my appreciation at least."
Yeah, you needn't worry. To say I'm shocked would not really be truthful. I really don't blame her for how she's feeling, and yeah, I truly am sorry to you as well for the fact that our presence has caused you all such discomfort.
Nodel just sort of shakes his head and says, Well, if I told you I understood what was going on here, I'd also not be being truthful with you. But at the end of the day, I'm happy to be here and not locked up in a cave.
I know she said she'd never want to see us again, but well, you're free to call on us for help if you need it again. We're more than happy to.
Nodel just sort of like nods and says, I understand the sentiment, but I hope I never have to.
Yeah. Exactly. Given Tia clearly doesn't want us here, we should probably take our leave now.
Nodel sort of nods and says, I can take you to the exit.
And I guess we leave, unless Arya has more to say.
I'm good.
Okay.
I have other things I could say, but I mean, it's clear she's not going to listen to any of them.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are slowly led out of the laboratory, and as soon as you get to the foot of the staircase leading up, a figure is lurking in the shadows at the edge of the laboratory. As you like sort of start up the staircase, Mandatus sort of like follows up behind you, walks up next to you on the stairs, Elizabeth, as you're walking upwards behind Nodel, and sort of says, Miss Agiad, if I may apologise a little for Tia's outburst. Hopefully, eventually, she'll realise that you didn't mean any harm by doing what you did.
Yeah. Thank you. And for what it's worth, I will do what I can to ensure that you don't lose that scholarship. I don't think it would be fair.
He sort of bows his head and says, that's very considerate, considering everything that's happened.
I'm not about to let someone else lose their chance at something that they truly must enjoy, just because my presence put them in harm's way. Both of you clearly didn't necessarily want to get involved, but so I'm not about to let your lives be destroyed because you were. Or at least, I'd like to try and mitigate the damage.
He sort of like mulls over that in silence for a few moments as you reach the top of the stairs and head back towards the lobby and sort of says, thank you. I think if Tia were in the right mindset, she'd understand. She's always been very protective of what she and her uncle were trying to achieve, and part of that is where I get involved in all of this, and I think that seeing that threatened, she took it all very personally.
I can understand that.
None of us wanted to play the part that we did, but confronted with a spellcaster more powerful than we were able to deal with, we weren't exactly in a favourable situation.
I completely understand. And in a similar situation, I might have done the same. You're clearly both very attached to family, and I can honestly relate to that. I do hope to still see you around the college. Even if I understand if you don't want to set within 2 feet of this project anymore.
Menno shakes his head and says, quite the opposite, actually.
Well, then I hope to see you more.
sort of like gives a sheepish sort of smile and says, "If you'll have me, then I would be honoured."
As long as you keep me up to date with if there's trouble.
He sort of like muses that for a moment, like doesn't really get what you're mentioning, and sort of says, I suppose if the circumstances call for it, I'll let you know."
Look after yourself.
He just sort of nods. "Thank you again. I'm sure I don't need to rehash it anymore, but you've taken a lot of weight off us." Nodel is... He's like, sort of like looks at Nodel as, well, almost like part of the family at this point. The thought of losing him was... we didn't want to consider it. At which point Nodel just sort of like offers up a shrug and says, "I didn't know you felt quite that strongly about it, but it's... thank you, I guess."
I have no emotions because I'm a robot.
That's not true. He does have emotions. He just...
Yeah, he still has a soul. He's just not used to emotions.
Yeah. Yeah, the two of you sort of like reach the front door. Nodel sort of like opens the door and says, "It always feels wrong to turf you out so quickly, but..."
Either way, we'd probably be leaving quickly. We still have our companions to assist.
well, best of luck, I guess.
And to you.
Well, provided nobody knows that I'm here, then hopefully I won't need it.
Is there still the big hole in the floor?
There is still a big hole in the floor, yes.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. At this, I think Elizabeth would like sort of gesture to it and say I'd offer to fix some of the damage, but it would take time, and I don't think Tia would want me around that long.
He sort of looks at the hole in the floor, like looks back at you and goes, "Yeah, I'd ask what happened, but I get the feeling that I don't want to know."
Golem.
Makes sense.
Right. Stay safe, you lot, and yeah.
Yeah, you step outside and Nodel sort of like pushes the door to behind you.
And yeah, once we're outside, Elizabeth's going to turn to Arya and say, "I guess we should be heading back to the park."
Yep.
Let's hope we're not too late.
I think we should be okay. Hopefully.
Well, I can't teleport us, but if you two go as fast as you can, I can at least keep up.
We can go pretty fast.
Well, so can I.
Fair enough.
Okay, so you are the three of you are hot-footing as fast as possible.
Yep.
Yeah, unless you have something that helps you move faster, Elizabeth, Arya and Lyra will massively outspeed you.
Well, I can technically do 90 feet a turn.
90 feet, okay.
Yeah, because I can sprint and Misty Step.
Oh, that's true, yes.
Because I can Misty Step. Because I can Misty Step infinitely. Yeah, like literally every 6 seconds, Elizabeth's just appearing 30 feet ahead of you guys.
Yeah, that is going to draw a lot of attention if you do that. Like, Arya and her big wolf running already draws a lot of attention, but you, like, literally chain teleporting is going to draw even more.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Like you said, her and the wolf running at full speed is already a lot of attention.
Okay.
A bit more can't hurt.
Right. Noted.
It's fine. Look, we want to be quick.
Okay.
I don't
The
know if you
alternative
need to be that. Okay, I'm not there. I can't say.
Nope.
The alternative
This
is I
the
sit on
goal
Lyra's back, and I don't think Lyra would be happy with that one.
Maybe, maybe she'll hold you in her mouth.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be happy with that. Also, that would draw even more attention.
It would give the impression that we were kidnapping you.
Yeah. You saw an individual hanging limply from a giant direwolf as them and a woman run through the street. You would think you suspect a kidnapping.
Just feign excitement. It's fine.
Okay. So back in the cave, Grim and Kelariis, there is sort of this awkward silence as the elven guards sort of mutter among themselves about the situation that they find themselves in, and the two of you are just sort of like left stood there, waiting. Maybe 15-20 minutes pass. Before you hear the approach of yet more footsteps from the mouth of the cave. And this time, a number more armed guards sort of make their way inside. This time accompanied by Captain Trailwind.
She's gonna be so pissed at us.
Absolutely.
She wanted us to stay out of trouble.
She like as she steps inside, she sees the two of you sort of standing there with the three prisoners at your feet. She almost like has to stifle a smile and just says, "Well, that was quick."
We did say that we were going to address it.
But admittedly, like it didn't quite go as we expected. We got ambushed, and we kind of ended up in here. And well, as you might be able to tell, their ambush didn't quite work out the way they intended.
No, apparently not.
But yes.
Well, I've got the loose rundown. Why don't you fill me in on the rest?
Well, do you want to do that here, or like these are all spellcasters, so you're aware. Like pointing at the prisoners.
I think at that, like, she sort of thinks for a moment, turns to the guards on her left and right, indicates sort of the prisoners, says some things in Elvish, turns back and says, "We can do this here, or we can do this elsewhere."
I guess we might as well do it here. That might be.
The guards around you quickly make busy, sort of securing as much as you have already secured the prisoners. They basically like fully manacle them and prepare them to be transported.
I suppose we should just hand over what we have of their spell casting, or do we want to keep that? We probably had discussed this prior.
Oh,
but
no, we're not handing anything over. They don't explicitly ask for.
That's fair.
But yeah. So I feel like the rundown is well, we learned of an object that was related to the kidnappers through some research, and we were able to roughly track the location of this object. And then when we were in the park, we were made aware. Well, we noticed that this tree had a little trick up its sleeve, as you may have noticed. And as as we tracked the item, we went in and got ambushed. And considering the fact that you may not see the demon right now, but there was a demon, and you'll find some disturbed bodies further in from the raised dead. We had a hunch that they were up to no good. Well, partially because they attacked us first, but and then the secrecy and all the stolen stuff, and that's
Sorry, carry on.
and that's pretty much how it went down.
Give me just a background deception check.
Deception check, you say?
Yes.
Oh wait,
Deception. Oh,
Wow.
wait. I just realized you said background. I didn't know if you meant. Like, in hindsight, I realized that. Did you mean it's stealthily white out? But like.
Oh no, sorry. Yes. This is like to pass off your missing details seamlessly, because you deliberately omitted some things. But that'll do.
That is true.
Yes. Captain Trailwind sort of like nods along to this. Looks very serious. Curses under her breath in Elvish, and just sort of says, "Well, in any case, I appreciate your efforts in keeping this locked down. Obviously, the fewer people who know, the better. Whilst the incident by the lake wasn't exactly ideal, not having another cultist loose in the city is preferable. Especially considering that," and she like points at the drow woman who's sort of like being dragged to her feet and like brought upright. Especially considering one of your captives is an active foreign agent. Drow plot within the city walls. This kind of thing could cause mass panic if details get out before we get a handle on them.
Yeah, it was a bit unfortunate that one almost got away, but we dragged them back.
I do apologize for a bit of a scene that caused, but it was we didn't have any options at that point.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll do what I can to keep people quiet about that. I'm not looking forward to what's going to come out of this once I debrief some people. Hells, I'm already concerned what other agents could have slipped by unnoticed if we're this far behind tactics. But I guess this is one I owe you.
Well, it goes both ways. We catch the people that are disrupting us, and you have less bad guys in plotting in your city. So.
I think of that, like, she sort of smiles, extends a hand to you and sort of says, "As long as you're not expecting to get paid, my budget doesn't cover that."
I don't think that's going to be an issue.
Do we ever get paid? I don't know.
I think we've been
We occasionally get paid.
Yeah, we've been rewarded for certain jobs.
Yeah, even sometimes when we didn't, get an actual job, like the kidnapped person on the ship. We got a monetary reward for that.
Yeah,
You did.
Also, we may not get paid necessarily by people who say, "Hey, can you do this for me?" But we do get paid in the form of taking the loot.
Yeah.
Also,
that's a different.
No one paid us to kill the dragon, but we did get lots of money
I
out
feel
of
like
it.
that's a little different.
also getting away was breaking a lot of rules.
Yeah.
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 I think we
paid in
cashed
that.
in a lot of our. I was gonna say I think we cashed in a lot of our payment by getting away with shit.
Yeah. Yeah, we just called up
Because
Yeah.
they don't
on the
arrest
phone.
us.
Just
Yeah,
we just get away with
Yeah.
500 gold worth of paperwork.
Yeah, like you guys
Yeah.
caused a public disturbance, and you quickly teleported back and gave Lester a quick call, and he got rid of the star rating.
There's
Wow.
a very good reason why Captain Trailwind is chaotic good.
Nice.
Yay!
Me, Kelariis, and her are chaotic good buds.
Yeah. Honestly, we would probably get along well.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Elizabeth alignment anymore is. I just know it's good.
Just good.
We need to line it.
She's just like, don't be bad.
Yeah, I guess she like at this, like, Captain Trailwind just sort of like pauses for a moment and sort of says, well, I've got a lot of cleaning up to do after this, but I don't suppose you've got time to answer a couple more questions. There's some burning things that I don't think you'll probably have the answer to, but I don't know what you've found out up to this point.
Well, unfortunately, we were hoping we'd get to talk to these people, but there wasn't. We didn't really have. Well, a lot happened. We haven't really gotten around to that. But yeah, we have time to answer some questions.
Yeah, I guess she like as these prisoners are sort of like being like escorted outwards, like the drow woman has basically like been there's one guardsman has like got her over his shoulder with like a heavy sack like draped over so that you can't see who she is. Captain Trailwind sort of like points to the tiefling and the elf and sort of says, "These two, I mean, judging by their attire and demeanor, they're cultists, but..." And like she points at the drow and says, "How does the drow fit into this? I mean, as far as I can tell, she hasn't got a mask. She's not carrying any sort of identification. Not that I expect her to be. We've done ever since. Well, you were there for the first lot, but ever since the cultists started showing up, we've raided them, we've shut them down wherever we can, but they've never had this sort of heavy fire support before."
Well, quick question. The guy I'm asked to, like, what kind of, like, how would I think, like, consider him ranking-wise? Like, is he just...
Captain Trailwind, she is basically like, I guess the closest, she's a police detective essentially.
Well, I guess we have some answers. Well, I say answers. Educated guesses would be a better way of putting it. If these are indeed the cultists that we think they are, like, not too long ago, down in Cindershale, they may have made a pact with some what are they called?
The Sisterhood.
Yes, like the sister, like a drow group. We'll just call them that. Or a group of drow, which with significant power, and I wouldn't be surprised that, like, due to some of the things that, like, because we're actively working to prevent the grander scheme of their plans. I wouldn't be surprised if they've stepped up their efforts to thwart this, and thus they've recruited some more devious people, I guess.
Captain Trailwind sort of like raises an eye when you say you've been to Cindershale Landing, and she sort of says, "You've been all the way to Cindershale and you've still got all your limbs?"
Well, we've
been to a lot of places where people probably don't expect us to come back in one piece.
Yeah,
But yes, we have been.
Rather you than me.
Yeah. The only place that's basically left untamed is the wild north, like beyond the mountains. Or what are they called again?
Untamed. Well, I guess we haven't
Yeah, I
been
don't
like super
Yeah.
far. We haven't been east a lot, especially
Well,
like
yeah.
southern
we've been
east
Yeah,
area.
we haven't been southeast.
Yes, I guess southeast not, but we've been
Yeah.
all the way to the coast.
Yeah, Grim's been east a lot when he was younger, but
Oh, that's true.
Grim's from the east.
yes.
But that's that aside. But
Yeah.
yeah, like so we believe that these drow may be cooperating with the cult in exchange for more power, essentially.
How does this power play work exactly? Like, I mean, I get that they're trying to secure influence, but how does sabotaging you guys help?
Like I'm gonna ask you that, like, I'm not sure what's and what should not be said, and there are like, can I trust that you will make some judgment calls on what will be actually written down? It might writing like the problem here is informing you about the wrong stuff might make you a target for them as well, and that's why I'm somewhat hesitant to go too in depth.
She like looks at the city watch around her, sort of like thinks for a moment, like nods and says, "We can take the theatre of this conversation elsewhere."
Perhaps that might be a little better.
She sort of like leads you out of the cave. As you get to the mouth of the cave, you see like sprinting towards you, like one of them like skipping along, basically like jumping from point to point. Arya and Elizabeth are like sprinting back towards you.
Wow.
Hey guys.
Hey,
Is everything all right?
Yeah, we wanted to get back in time.
and
I don't know. I didn't know how things were going.
well,
Captain Trailwind like looks back at
Hey.
you, Grim, with like a curious look on her
Hey.
face.
like, well, they ended up teleporting away for safety reasons. They were there as well, but I wasn't expecting them to be back this quickly. Because, no, I guess they were concerned that we wouldn't be able to handle the rest.
Well, to be honest, I was more concerned that by the time we got here, you guys would have moved on and we wouldn't know where to go, where to look for you. I mean, we probably could have had some inclination, but
As if you don't have means of contact.
I was gonna say, I literally
a very
have
good
located
point.
person.
look, I don't always think that far ahead.
Well, good news is all the bad guys have been dealt with. The guard have shown up and are going to take them into custody. Currently going to ask some additional questions in a more private setting. And, well, I guess you don't necessarily have to come along, but might not hurt.
I don't know what else I'd do.
Yeah, Captain Trailwind sort of shrugs and says, "If you trust them enough to have this private conversation with them, then that suits me."
Well, they know pretty much everything I do.
Fair enough. And I guess, yeah, you. She doesn't take you to her office that you've been to before. She instead takes you to a large, like marble and gold decorated structure just on the edge of the government district. Where she takes you up a couple of flights of stairs into a I guess it's like a long conference room with a carved wooden table that takes up the majority of the space. She closes the door behind her, locks it, and invites you all to take a seat.
Okay.
Then I guess we're sitting.
She perches at sort of the head of the table and sort of says, strictly this is still part of my report, but if there's anything you don't want put explicitly on paper, I will make a judgment call.
Well, I guess. Well, there's one thing that that should probably not be on paper just yet. But what else should? Let's start with the things that you should probably know. Although I think I shared most of the things. Because, I guess, do you know what? I guess we should ask. Do you know anything about this cult? Because perhaps we could fill you in on a few more things.
All I know is they're essentially a crazy death cult. Their primary goal is some crackpot lunatic's stratagem for the end of the world, supposedly. And I know that they've been more than a thorn in the side of a number of operations. Apparently a lot more than we thought.
Well,
That's a pretty good high-level summary.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's about the gist of it.
but it might not hurt to. There are some things that might be nice to know. In general, they generally refer to themselves as the Dread Legion. Although currently there is a bit of a power struggle within the Dread Legion itself, causing some internal fights.
You let these
did we have to, I'm thinking, did we have the name of the group that was splitting?
You did at one point.
Yeah.
Let me see if
I
I
think-
can
I think so.
find it.
Yeah,
Let
I'm
me
sure we did.
double check. I remember if I.
Is it in these notes? It's probably in the previous set of notes.
I don't think I wrote it down.
I have to find out where in our notes we took that information down, but if we had it, I probably wrote it down.
Well, we learned it after our squad, mercenary top, ace squad, star squad, whatever you want to call it.
Star Squad.
Yeah.
When they came back from
Yeah.
The split sect that are opposed to Azrael's leadership is known as the Unbegun Fellowship.
and there's so there's this they're kind of splitting into two groups: the main group, the Red Legion, and then the Underguns.
Unbegun Fellowship. I'll type it out for you.
Unbegun. I was like,
Yeah.
Undergun?
Yeah.
What's
Undergun?
Yeah, I heard undergun the first time. Yeah, I was like, undergun, what?
Unbegun Fellowship? So, then there's the Unbegun.
Unbegun.
Yes. This is fine. Oh, I clicked away. Roll 20 by accident. There we go. And those are the Unbegun Fellowship is the group that is kind of like holding true to what you initially said. The rest of the Dread Legion has been somewhat hijacked, and under what I could only describe as new leadership from a man who's just seeking to empower himself. Yes, what else important cult is well, it is basically like it's everywhere to some degree, or at least it operates well pretty much everywhere.
That's as much as we've found. Numerous sects operating out of various locations, sometimes not even aware that the others exist.
Yes.
Yep.
I think that summarizes it kind of as to what the group is. Well, and then the core group that still goes by Dread Legion has is the one that has the bonds to the Drow group, known as the Sisters of Lolth. Sisterhood or
The Sisterhood of Lolth.
Sisterhood of Lolth, yeah.
Both are like kind of interchangeable. They are referred to as both, but yes, Sisterhood is the official title.
Yeah. I think after hearing Minnie mention them, Elizabeth would speak up as well and say, "I can also confirm, attempting to make the Drow stand down, she essentially confirmed that connection. The Sisterhood of Lolth is very much granting aid to the Dread Legion."
That's worrying in and of itself, but I'm still not seeing how exactly this links into whatever plans they had for your operation.
Well, I guess the thing, it's safe to say that our operations are in large part focused, basically purely focused on sabotaging their operation, which, as you might imagine, is a fairly good reason to become a target.
Wherever we go, it's usually to combat the Dread Legion in some way.
Yeah.
So all this is a grand counter-espionage strategy.
You could put it that way. There is one thing, like the thing that like we should like I don't like the how do I put it? Like the methods how are why we are like it's the only reason why there's more people that wouldn't be happy with it, and we don't really want to make it too public. Although, as you like, it's nothing dangerous, and it's like just don't put this bit in the report. I guess basically, we're making a device that will allow us to pinpoint certain types of magic. Most specifically, we know the leader that we're hunting down right now has access to magic from, well, like from beyond our times, before our time. Like it's basically a lost art, which makes it easier to isolate. However, we will like this could potentially be used for tracking other things. But as you might imagine, if we were able to complete our project, their leadership, the one who's basically hungering for power, wants to planning on assassinating gods and taking their power for themselves. Not to great success so far, but we have a hunch that we'll be successful if we don't stop them.
Captain Trailwind chuckles at that comment, and then when you don't respond similarly, she just sort of is like, "Wait, you're serious about that?"
Well, they have, like, if not for some external factors that we were personally involved in, it may already have occurred once, but fortunately we were able to to prevent the grip that they had on consuming the god. We won't disclose who it was, nor do we expect you to write about it, because this is the kind of thing that might cause a panic. However, the reason why I am telling you a lot of this is because if they are ramping up their efforts, we need someone who is aware of the lengths that they're willing to go to and has some authority to actually act on it without necessarily having to, cause a panic about it.
She rubs her temples at that revelation, just says, Mother of the Moon. I guess that answers my third question.
Yes. Essentially, if we if we can complete the research we're doing at the university or at the college, we'll be able to put a stop to it in a more permanent fashion, hopefully, or at least they will never be able to hide again.
Yeah.
Well, I guess now that we've gotten this far, they almost successfully assassinated the gods. Well, the reason why is because they're not actually human. They are a lich, and they're like thousands of years old, and they have and they have ancient magic. But I guess you kind of got that.
Yeah, Captain Trailwind just sort of sits back in the chair and just goes, yeah, I mean,
I
I know.
We just have a lot on her plate all at once. I feel very bad.
I'll be honest, I don't entirely follow you, and if I hadn't seen some of the things that I've already seen, I would be worried that you guys were completely crazy.
I mean, honestly, it sounds kind of crazy, so.
It's probably because it is kind of crazy.
It is why we don't just go sharing it willy-nilly. And it's kind of what makes it hard.
Yeah, well, you needn't worry about me putting that in any reports, because I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't even know where to start.
Fair enough. And I have a hunch that they might question your report to begin with, but that's...
Yeah, I'd like to keep my job and not be retired on mental health reasons.
Yeah, that's understandable.
I really thought we were starting to get on top of this. We'd hit them hard a couple of times, taking out what we thought were a couple of their operational centers, but I guess we barely scratched the surface if what you're telling me is accurate.
Every little helps, though.
And it's quite possible that you've made hard hits on their operations here for the most part. They're just a bigger group than it seems.
Yeah, you can say that again. Well, I have a long thought ahead of me about how exactly I'm gonna write this all up, and I have 3 prisoners who I now have a lot of questions for.
Well, truth is, we also have some questions for them, as you might imagine. Although I will also say that these people are quite resilient to questioning. At least in traditional manner.
Yeah, I had a feeling most of the most of the small fry that we've dealt with up to this point have been either reluctant to say anything, don't know anything, or are too far gone to be of any use.
We have had some success in magically extracting information, but it's not always successful. That said, I wonder, what do we actually expect to learn from them? I guess they could give us a head start on their operation there. Figuring out how they're planning on sabotaging us more.
There's going to be a bit of a complication on that one, because we have provisions for if an enemy of the state is captured, and they're going to be out of my jurisdiction very, very quickly. So she like thinks for a moment and sort of says, I really...
Oh.
If anyone asks, this conversation never happened.
Of course not.
There was a small window where those prisoners will remain part of my jurisdiction. They will be handled and processed according to some rather strict methods. Then, once they've been processed, the names. Oh gosh. I'm blanking on my... Oh, sorry. After that period elapses, the Storm Guard will arrive, and they will be taken into government custody. There is a small window where that information could be delayed. It won't be for long, but it might buy you the time to ask some questions.
Well, I guess we'll have to take what we can get. And if it doesn't turn up anything, then that's unfortunate. But we'll do what we can.
I mean, at the very least, we'll be no worse off than where we are now in terms of information, so...
Yes.
And as far as the project with the college is concerned, we've already sort of... Well, we've already been keeping up our... We've been elevating our own security.
I think, yeah, Captain Trailwind nods, sort of like, loosens like a ring at her belt, removes a single key from it, slides it into the center of the table, and basically says, I'm going to fill out some paperwork slow enough to not attract suspicion. I'm going to need that back.
Wait,
Of course.
Presumably, that's a key that will get us to talk with the.
Like all we need now is a location. But I guess we kind of know where it is because we were there before.
She nods.
Yeah. Okay. Well, say no more.
And this never happened.
Actually, we should probably strip out of our armor before we go. That might help things.
Probably.
quickly. Just
I guess she sort of looks around and says, probably best not to do it here.
Oh, we'll find a spot along the way.
At which point she sort of stands up, unlocks the door that into the conference room, leaves the door ajar, and just walks out.
I guess
Well,
we're going with. Well, not necessarily going with, but we're also leaving.
let's get out of here. And get to the prison or holding or whatever facility it is.
Yeah, you're basically going back to the holding cells that you were at previously. So yeah, you
start coming up with questions, guys.
You hurry across. Make it to the excuse me. Make it to the holding center where you were previously, to basically find it abuzz with City Watch activity. People are like running to and fro. There is a lot of people are like basically like working overdrive in this moment. Like something has clearly galvanized them to action. You are uncontested as you make your way down to the cells where you find the holding cell where there are 3 prisoners who are all manacled, still unconscious.
Okay.
You are able to unlock the door and step inside.
Well,
Okay. Well, Kelariis, I feel like we're gonna just go in, but we're gonna go in hard with your. Well, I want to say rod of questioning, but that's not quite what it's called.
the baton.
The
Hate
baton.
that.
Retribution.
Ain't that one?
Rod of questioning.
God.
You met the guys in the making.
Are we just on the drow?
Well, yeah, that's what we need to figure out. We need to figure out what we're asking and who we're asking.
Well, we'll start with the drow. What we need to know is, actually, we should just. What do we need to know? We need to know. Are there more? We need to know if there's more groups trying to sabotage us. If there's more leadership nearby, and if there's other cells in the area, or just if there's more cultists.
I feel like the third and first are quite similar there.
Yeah, but like they're similar, but
I think we should like try and distinguish them more. Like one being the asking if they're like where the other groups of cultists are, if there are any, and like be more specific. Like it'd be nice to know what they're going to try and do before they do it. So if they have backup plans, that might be worth asking.
Should I ask what are their current plans in regards to sabotaging us?
That might not be a bad idea.
Yeah.
I can ask that as one of my questions.
Also, what do you know about So, what are your plans for sabotaging us? Or what are the plans to sabotage us? Who are there more groups nearby, or are there more cultists active in the city? And the third one was based on what you said, Elizabeth. What did you say?
What their plans are to sabotage us further.
Oh yeah, but
That's the current plan.
That's the first one. Then
yeah, okay.
Second is
Well, yeah, we want to know. Well, yeah, then we want to know any backup plans.
Yeah, but I think that's covered in.
That's a plan.
Well, then that was the only thing I suggested. So.
What else? Wait, I just had it and then I just lost it. The plans.
Okay.
What are they? Oh, what do they know?
Yeah.
What do they know about us? I feel like that might be useful.
Knowing what they know of the project.
Yes. What do you know about the project?
That would be useful to know, actually. Yeah.
What do you know about the project you were sent to sabotage, basically?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to read these back to make sure I got them down right. Okay. So, current plans for sabotaging us. What other Dread Legion or Sisterhood members are nearby? And what do you know about the project you were sent to sabotage? Correct? I got that down correctly?
I think so.
Just wanted to make sure.
Sounds
Yeah,
right.
I guess.
We should also maybe take 1 second to tell her what's going to happen before we just like wake her
Nah,
up and like
fuck
into.
Before we just bop her with the rod.
I mean... Okay, but on the other hand, consider the scare factor.
You know what?
What? Wake her up and instantly just bonk horny jail.
You know, honestly, that might not be the
Horny
worst.
jail!
I don't know why that came into my head. I'm sorry. If anyone should go to horny jail, it's the tiefling.
Wow.
See, that's clever there, because not only is it a stereotype of people who play tieflings, but also they have actual horns.
Wow.
That's stereotyping and kind of racist, I think.
I think so.
I'm not stereotyping tieflings. I'm stereotyping the people who play tieflings.
Okay, we'll allow it for now.
Yeah, the only thing I'm doing is commenting that the tiefling actually has horns. That's the only thing I'm commenting about the actual tiefling.
Anyways, I'm gonna wake up this drow.
Yeah, wait,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
are using lay on hands.
Just lay on hands, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I guess I'll just give 1 hit point. God, I hope she doesn't fucking lie to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. She took enough of a punishment that I think 1 shock won't just kill her instantly.
Well, no, but the thing is, I can only do this once per day, and if I knock her out, it ends the thing.
Alright, yeah, true.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I do start all my things with answer truthfully, or
Or you die.
or it will not be pleasant.
Answer truthfully or you're gonna get fucked.
Okay. So yeah, you touch her and she rouses from consciousness.
Yeah.
Like yeah, she like as she rouses to consciousness, she sort of regards the 4 of you with a look that can only be described as contempt.
Yeah, checks out.
Mood.
Yeah, that's valid. Yeah, I guess I don't really give her much time, and I just look at her and say, we're going to be asking you some questions, and I'll just tap her with the
Okay. Dunk.
thing.
Cool.
There's no really point in delaying it, I think.
No, not really.
Don't let her get her courage.
Okay. If you will accompany me.
Yeah, don't let her run
Sure.
through her.
Okay. You channel the familiar powers of the baton.
Yeah.
And yeah, you find yourself at the crossroads with this drow.
Yeah. How does she react? I'm always curious how people react, because I think
Okay.
it gives me a pretty good gauge of like how to.
She is quite clearly like gritting her teeth. She is certainly not happy to be in this situation answering questions. She's not afraid of you, but she's definitely in a sense of discomfort.
That's
Like
fair.
she's very uncomfortable being in her current situation.
You know, I would be too, I think. So that's fair. Yeah, I guess then I just tell her, answer these questions truthfully, or things will not be very pleasant for you. I guess I kind of wait for her to acknowledge that, at least.
I guess like at that she sort of she snarls a little and just says I am no beginner to these sort of games. Ask your questions.
All right. And I guess we'll start with, what are the current plans of your group for sabotaging us and our work?
she smiles and says, "As far as we're concerned, the damage is already done."
And what do you know about the project that you were sent to do this work on? Or to sabotage, excuse me.
It is a scrying device, capable of looking across great distances and planes.
Excuse me while I furiously scribble this down.
Yep, it's alright.
Right. And then you'll tell me what other Dread Legion or Sisterhood members are nearby. Besides the two with you.
Okay. She I think she pauses for a moment. Yeah, I guess she answers this truthfully. She says, the only reinforcements we have are a unit of an arm of the Legion waiting for us to make our way out and evacuate. We're leaving. Our plans were to leave this hellhole behind once we'd got what we came for. And yeah, with that, you know that she answered all of the questions truthfully, and the spell ends.
Okay.
And we can go back.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Go back.
Hello.
So you watch as the faint orange glow around Kelariis and her target subsides.
Is the drow still conscious?
The drow is still conscious. She like spits a little blood from between her teeth. Looks up at you, Kelariis, and says, "See, I told you."
What?
I don't know why you're so proud of yourself. I guess I look to Grim and the others and just say, do you want the answers here, or would we rather step outside?
We should probably go somewhere more
Well,
private for the answers.
Well, like we get like now, and we like I don't think we're gonna get a second chance anytime soon. So if you've got any more questions, now's the time. But probably gonna be on you, Kelariis. Although I guess you can give us the rundown. Were there plans?
It seems like what they've done is all they had planned. They were going to leave after this.
Are they the only
Right.
ones?
She mentioned an arm of the Legion, but I don't know how many that entails.
And
They're waiting for them to leave.
oh, what was the last question again? Oh, and did they know? And I guess they knew stuff about us.
Oh no, it was about the project.
Oh yeah, the project.
Yeah. They had an idea, I think.
Okay,
Clear enough to know how to do some work on it.
that's fair. I guess I have one question for you. Why bother dragging you all the way up here? Surely they've got other competent people up here. I'm saying that to the.
Yeah, I guess like she I guess she just sort of grins and says it's true. An operation like this is somewhat beyond someone of my talents. Doesn't that suggest something to you?
I guess so. Do any of you still have questions? Because otherwise, we should probably get out soon.
Yeah. Also, like, I guess Elizabeth would like switch to Nomis so that Drow doesn't understand and just say, we should probably knock her out again too.
We'll get to that after.
But yeah, and then she switches back to common and just says, I don't have anything to ask.
Alright. Of course.
Good.
No, I don't think so. As I doubt
Well-
that she'll answer where the others of the Dread Legion are.
I'm like, what? Well, I guess do you say that out loud or?
No, you know what? Actually, I will ask because the worst that she's gonna do is not fucking answer me, or
Yeah.
be sassy about it. So yeah, I guess then I just look at her and just say, and just ask, where are the others that are waiting for you then?
She shrugs as best she can with her hands manacled behind her back and says, "We were to meet them outside the city. I don't know where they are."
And how were they supposed to know that you had left?
We have ways of communicating.
Don't we all? I guess I should look at Grim and just say, I doubt she's going to give us anything else.
Yeah. Well, I guess before we go, was it worth? Like, is this worth it?
Give me an intimidation roll.
Come on.
It sounds weird, but
You know
Okay.
what? I'll try again.
Okay.
There we go.
you're gonna luck it. Okay.
Nice.
Look,
Lucky.
I feel lucky that she's intimidated the slightest.
It's not so much that you intimidated her, as from the way her teeth her lips curl and her teeth clench into a snarl, and she just says, "Worth it." You have absolutely no idea, do you? This was worth it. This was worth even this humiliation of being defeated and captured. Because the Sisterhood has something planned that will serve as satisfactory revenge for everything you did to Lithrana, and we will humiliate you and all your little allies when we're done. Do I make myself completely clear?
I'm quaking in my boots.
You should be.
Yes.
No, we're not the ones working with madmen.
Perhaps
Unnecessary
we'll-
sacrifice.
Yeah. I guess perhaps we'll see each other again, and I'll bunk her into the ball.
Okay, she is about to respond as you just backhand her, just.
Wow.
KO.
Way to end that conversation.
God, yeah, we went hard on that one, but sure.
Like,
Look, it's really badass when you do the one-liner and then poof, immediately knocks the person out. All those moments in video games where that happens to
Yeah.
the main character. You
Well-
always go, damn, what a badass.
Humanity, as always, brought this war upon itself.
well, I guess we know who's coming for us next, potentially.
Well, Dread Legion and Sisterhood.
I mean, we already knew that they were working, or we already had an idea that they were working together. I guess we shouldn't be that surprised.
Yeah, but we
Not
weren't
really.
weren't aware of the plot of vengeance.
It makes sense though, doesn't it?
Like, I don't know. Like,
You did kind of publicly humiliate them.
yeah, but like,
Yeah, well, you know.
Well,
That's what they get for doing wrong.
I say you did. You with help.
Well, that's what they get for being really fucking stupid working with the Dread Legion.
well, that's just. Yeah, we
Yeah,
say that,
let's-
but we'll find out.
Yeah.
Now, won't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get this key
Yeah.
back before anybody notices it's missing.
Yeah.
Back to the captain.
I
Yep.
suppose not all of us have to go, right?
Probably not.
Oh.
Well,
I
you
mean, in theory, one of us could just put it in our office.
Well, like, unless you want to like do something else.
No, I was thinking. Well, I was gonna go because I don't really have anywhere else to go. But I was thinking, like, if I don't know, like, say Elizabeth wants to go back to the university or something. I don't know if all of
Oh.
us going to like drop off a key draws a lot of attention. Was
Yeah.
my thought.
Yeah.
That is true.
I guess it would make sense if Grim was to go,
Yeah.
because Grim's the boss.
well,
Sure.
you get about as far as the lobby of the police building or the guard building, where Captain Trailwind is standing in the lobby, flanked by no less than 4 Stormguard,
Oh God.
Oh my god.
That was fast.
in full golden combat regalia, like halberds at the ready.
Damn.
And she sort of like she sees you approaches and just sort of like leans down a little to you, Grim, and like extends a hand to shake your hand and sort of says, "Thank you again for all of your efforts."
Well, thank you for aiding us as well, and all. And do the classic key in the
Yeah,
hand.
you palm the key. I won't make you roll sleight of hand because nobody's paying attention.
Good. Because that
Thank
key was
God.
going to hit the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grim fumbles the key. It's like, oh fuck.
Anyway.
But yeah, Captain Trailwind nods, and you make your way out of the building.
Yeah. I think once we're outside of this, we're going to say, like, I would like to have words with the professors after all.
For any reason in particular?
Arya knows, but let's just say I don't think it's fair that they should face too negative a consequence from being blackmailed.
Oh yeah, how did that go?
Yeah.
I guess we should. I guess we'll explain once we get. Well, I guess we can both have an explanation when we're in the privacy of the
Yeah,
lab.
you'll catch it up. At
Yeah.
Yeah.
appropriate time.
For convenience's sake, there is no interruption between you leaving the station, crossing the market district, and arriving back at the academy.
Can't believe we made it through the city without an event.
Yeah, nobody tried to murder you this time.
Weird.
It's a fucking miracle.
To the lab. Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, you make your way into the lab. The seal is still present on the door. You step inside, and nobody is there.
In that case, Elizabeth would just start with, well, as for what happened with us, we teleported into the basement, and Tia was already there. To say she was happy would very much be lying. She was real angry, but she didn't do anything against us because we brought him back. So she just sort of begrudgingly said, "I don't want to see you again, but I guess you did a good thing," and left. Meanwhile, Nodel and Mandatus were a bit more appreciative. That makes it sound kind of harsh. Like, I personally completely understand why Tia was so upset with everything. But the reason I wanted to talk with the professors is because I don't think it's fair that Mandatus should lose a scholarship for being blackmailed. So I want to see if... well... I'd like to see him around the college more, is what I'm saying. I don't think it's just fair that he should lose the chance at an education that could change his life just because we happen to be nearby.
Oh, it's not quite how that works, but I guess you can try your best for them.
Yeah.
So try not to go shouting it from the rooftops.
Of course not.
Because, like, even though we know what happened, and I doubt, don't tell too many people is what I'm trying to say.
I'm not going to, don't worry.
I am still worried about it.
But anyway, how did things go once we left?
Well, you were basically there for most of it. We gave them a brief overview of what happened. They believed it, and that put us in the room afterwards because we had to, well, because we decided to tell them something that should not be said in front of the others.
True. But yeah. Thanks guys for coming up on such short notice. I'm gonna do what I can to have the orrery a bit more secure, just in case.
Probably a good plan.
Yeah.
We're gonna make sure there's much more supervision when the students are in and stuff like that. I'll see what I can do about wards and alarms as well.
Yeah, I'm sure that every little bit will help going forward.
In fact, I might even keep that lock on the door.
Suppose there's no harm in it.
No one should really be in here without me or one of the professors anyway.
It's definitely for the better.
It won't keep out everyone, but it's better than nothing.
Well, if I remember anything, the magic used to break it is somewhat loud.
One of them is.
Oh, here's our odds.
Well, I guess I can't teleport you all home just yet, so I guess we're here for the rest of the day. If there's any business, I guess, that you have in the capital that you don't trust me to do, you might want to do it now.
Do we have any business left? Well, that said, they were going to meet someone outside the city.
Yeah, but I don't really know how we'll be able to track them.
It's
Yeah, we don't know the meeting place.
if only we could intercept their messages.
If only.
Magic complicates things. Oh well.
It complicates, but it also simplifies.
I wouldn't say it simplifies, but I would say that it makes certain things easier. There's a difference.
Okay, true.
Okay. So, you find yourselves at a momentary lull. Is there anything you want to do in the city for the rest of the day? It is still, I think, still reasonably early in the day. By the time all this is done, it is probably just approaching the afternoon.
Well, I don't think there is much that we need to do.
Not that we need to do, no. We could just have a bit of a relax and a night out, but also, yeah, a random thing. I feel like Elizabeth would probably say just like, I'd give you all a thank you hug, but you're all very different heights, and I can't hug you all at once.
That's fine. Oh, besides, it's not like this is not like this was like a hassle or anything.
Lyra very pointedly just goes and sits in front of Arya.
No hugs. No hugs.
Nah hugs.
Don't touch my elf.
Nugs?
Don't touch my health.
Nugs? That's a totally different thing.
Unless that was Lyra trying to ask. No, probably not.
No,
Lyra does not want hugs from anyone other than Arya.
exactly.
I'm like trying to think if there's anything else that we needed, but I can't think of anything that we wouldn't be able to get locally anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. In that case, we will take a short break right there.
Cool.